Okay guys, today I'm going to be giving you my top 10 elements on Intimidator 305 at Kings Dominion. I think I did a video like this a long time ago, but I remember it being a pretty freaking bad video, and it wasn't necessarily based off of the elements alone, so I'm going to be doing that on the actual elements today. We're going to get right into this, starting out with the number 10 spot, being that twisted hill at the near end of the ride. This is that one moment where it kind of goes up and you think you're going to get airtime, but it just kind of turns to the right. And I mean, if you're in the front row, yeah, you get a little bit of it, but it honestly wasn't even that good. It's not that great of an element on the ride, so that's why it's going to be coming in last. But we're going to move on to number 9, and that's going to be the one right before it, which is actually the floater hill. This hill is only good if you are actually in the front row. If you're in the front, you get some floater. Like, I'm not lying. It's kind of shocking. You're like, whoa, that was not supposed to happen. There's like a trim here. But if you're in any of the other rows, specifically the back rows, yeah, you're not going to get anything. It is annoying, but thankfully the rest of the ride after that actually makes up for it, because it's actually pretty surprising what some of the elements do to you afterwards. And speaking of one of those elements, number 8 is going to be the transition into the brakes. Now, this has got to be the best brake run ever, because it literally yanks you to the left and then thrusts you upwards to the right, and you actually get airtime. Yes, you will get a little pop of ejector. It is crazy. This is such a great moment of the ride. I love it, because it's just so unexpected. Like, you're not expecting to get whipped that hard into a brake run. It was so freaking cool. Number 7 is going to be that final transition before the brakes. It is that crazy little twist that off-ride, it looks like it's going slower than it actually is. And so you're like, well, this was probably not going to be that great. Let's just find out how it is. And then you ride it and you're like, what was that? It whips you so freaking hard to the left. It is insane. In that back row, it is literally over. It's just absolutely one of the most unexpected elements on the ride. You are getting so much whip from that element. It is really crazy. And that's one of the reasons why I love Intimidator 305. There are so many unexpected parts that you're not really expecting anything, and then boom, it literally just yanks you. Number 6 is going to be that second low to the ground turn, you know, the one right before the floater hill. And a lot of people don't talk about this moment, but it is actually, if not the most, one of the most forceful parts of the ride. It takes you so low to the ground, and you feel the force so freaking much. I can't even explain how freaking insane it is. It's a really underrated part of the ride. That turn is actually fairly forceful. I mean, it's not as intense as like the first turn, but it's definitely up there. But anyways, let's move on to the number 5 spot, which is going to be that first airtime hill. This is the most overhated element on the entire ride. I don't understand what people are talking about when they say it has no airtime at all. You literally get ejected. No, it's not like RMC or anything, but it is sustained ejector. It is such a great part of the ride. The airtime is incredibly sustained for a few seconds, actually. It is nice ejector. It is not the strongest airtime in the world, but it is so sustained, and that's why I love it. Number 4, this is probably going to surprise a lot of people and maybe even trigger some. It is going to be that first turn. Now, this is known to be the most intense part of the ride, and yes, it is. This is the most intense part of the ride because it is incredibly forceful. Your vision goes gray. Sometimes you'll even black out if you have dehydrated or something, but most of the time it's just a gray out. And honestly, I love this part of the ride, but there are 3 parts that I love more, and it's a great moment. You are incredibly freaking enhancing the experience. You're just like, wow, this is incredibly forceful. So many freaking positives. It is so sustained. And it's a great moment. That's why I love it. I don't hate this moment at all. I actually freaking love it. This first turn is incredibly intense, and that is why it's going to be coming in at the number 4 spot. Now, moving on into the top 3 is going to be that first drop. A lot of people give this drop crap for being super short or whatever. Honestly, I love it because if you're in that back row, you're catapulted into the freaking air. It's literally so strong. It is great ejector. The drop is also good in the front row because it feels incredibly steep when you're up there. You also have the cable lift, which is giving you that momentum going into the drop. And yes, in the back rows, it's incredibly sustained ejector right there. The drop isn't the longest in the world, but it is definitely better than Fury's in my opinion, just because of the crazy ejector. It is incredibly steep, and I just love it. Number 2 is going to be that transition. Now, what do I mean by the transition? It is right after the first airtime hill and before the triple snaps. It is this part where you're getting laterals and airtime at the same time. I think this is the most underrated part of the ride. First, it kind of throws you to the right, and you get some crazy lats if you're on that right side. And then you actually feel some ejector. You're like, whoa, holy crap, that was not really expected. It's a great moment of the ride. I think it combines laterals and airtime great. It's not the strongest airtime right there, but you definitely feel it, and it really throws you to the side. And of course, what is number 1 going to be? It's that triple snap section where you are getting freaking yanked every which way. The first one is definitely the best because you hit it at like over 80 miles per hour and it's such a tight little turn. So you're just freaking thrusted to the right, And honestly, if you're on the right side, you do feel a pop of ejector. I'm not going to lie, you really do. And then you go into the second one, which this one honestly isn't as good as the other two because it's not really, yanking you or anything. It kind of just gracefully glides through it, but it gets really low to the ground, so that's why I love it as well. And then you hit that third one, which definitely is almost as good as that first one. It is really freaking intense. All three of these are great combined for a great sequence of intensity, and you are feeling those positives all the way. It is such a sustained amount of positives, and that's why I love Intimidator 305. Honestly, let me tell you something. This isn't the most incredible positives you'll find on a coaster. There are more coasters out there with stronger positives. So you'll question, wait, if it isn't the strongest positives, why is it the most intense coaster in the world? Well, it is considered the most intense coaster in the world because of how sustained these positives are. You are feeling the positives throughout the entire freaking ride. It just does not stop. From the minute you enter that first turn to all the way to the floater hill, it is incredibly sustained positives. Your freaking face is getting pushed back into your seat. You feel the wind. You feel the force. You're graying out at certain points of the ride. It is absolutely insane. And even after that floater hill, it is still great because you have two freaking crazy transitions that you weren't expecting. So overall, this ride is absolutely phenomenal. And this is going to do it for my top 10 elements on Intimidator 305. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Post your comments down in the section below. What is your favorite part of Intimidator 305? Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, coaster fans, I will see you later.